under the foliage, in the mud, or in the middle of calm water. Venomous snakes always face invisible challengers. Each encounter is a trade-off of life. Who will be the last survivor? Wild Indonesia. Venomous snakes in death battle with enemies. Indonesia. The archipelago stretching between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, a land where nature both bestows mysterious beauty and inflicts cruel challenges. Red volcanoes, dark green jungles, and murky rivers blend to create a wild and contradictory picture. On the dry, sun-baked land in the dark mangrove forests or in the quiet mud flats, there are always silent killers lurking. In this harsh place, all species are forced to adapt and fight every day because every encounter can turn into a life and death battle. Amid the sun-baked islands of Indonesia, where the red soil is cracked and the sea breeze blows across the yellow grass, a giant reptile roams in silence. The Komodo dragon, a creature that can bring down any living thing with just one bite. They can grow to over 3 meters long, weigh nearly 100 kilograms, have scales as rough as cold steel, and a tail strong enough to knock down a water buffalo. But what makes the Komodo most dangerous is not its muscles, but its jaws. Dozens of sharp, serrated teeth contain venom that prevents the blood of its prey from clotting, while deadly bacteria quickly turn wounds into a death sentence. A single bite is enough to start a slow, inevitable death. And the danger is not just for its prey, but for its own kind. When the breeding season comes, that is when the Komodo dragon shows its status and strength. The scorching sun beats down on the dry island, heating the ground red. The two giant Komodos approached, each heavy step stirring up red dust, their icy eyes locked tightly in a suffocating silence. When the hoarse screech rang out, that was when the battle began. They charged at each other. Then one fell, his eyes slowly fading. The bloody battles between the males only ended when the stronger one gained access to the female. The mating was fierce. The male held his mate down with all his enormous weight, leaving deep scratches on his body. But behind that brutality was another life cycle, where fragile life began. The female, after a fierce mating, silently dug a deep hole under the dry tree, burying dozens of eggs in the hot soil. A few months later, the dry soil under the tree began to stir. The eggshells cracked open, revealing young creatures whose shells had been broken, only about 30 centimeters long, weak and full of risk. They emerged from the hot soil, their bodies fragile, their eyes still bewildered by their first world. They were completely alone, without any protection. What was stalking them were their parents and adult brethren, who were ready to devour their young to satisfy their hunger. The survival instinct told the young to rush up to the high branches. In the green canopy, they hid for many years. Only when their bodies were big enough, their claws sharp enough, did they dare to leave the branches and return to the ground. In the world of Komodo, from the very first moment, life meant an escape. If the battles between their own kind were terrifying, the sight of Komodo hunting was even more terrifying. That brutality was pushed to another level. A water buffalo lumbered down the mud flats, unaware of the death lurking in the shadows. The giant Komodo silently closed in, its forked tongue pulsing, reading the scent of blood and sweat coming from its massive prey. The atmosphere was tense as a string. Suddenly, it lunged. That bite had brought a slow, irreversible death. The buffalo struggled desperately, but its strength was quickly exhausted. Komodo followed, letting time do the rest. Hours later, the giant fell. Death came, winning silently, smaller but more ruthless. But in the reptile world, it was not only the giants who spread fear. Lurking in the darkness, there were also smaller, faster killers, but they sowed death just as cruelly. From the viper lying in wait on the tree branch, the viper buried under the dry leaves, to the cobra with its bulging hood, all were silent ghosts that spread death. Among them, the king cobra was the ultimate symbol. At more than 5 meters long, its peck was enough to bring down a young elephant. It did not need massive muscles, just speed and deadly venom. If Komodo is a slow destroyer, then the king cobra is a swift death. And when both appear on the same territory, the silence immediately turns into a storm. The giant Komodo cuts through the dry grass, and in front, the cobra stands half-height, its hood wide open, its eyes like two blades burning in the sunlight. The air is thick and suffocating. Suddenly, the snake rushes forward. No one runs away. No one falls. As the confrontation between Komodo and the cobra subsides in silence, life on the Indonesian island continues in its own way. In the coastal mangrove forests, another creature also contributes to the strange picture of this land, the proboscis monkey. With their unusually long noses, rosy faces and potbellies, the proboscis monkey is a primate endemic to the island of Borneo. Adult males can weigh up to 20-25 kilograms, while females are smaller and more graceful. Their golden brown fur with a hint of gray helps them blend in with the foliage, but their long dangling noses make them unmistakable. Proboscis monkeys are masters of brackish water. Their long toes and webbed toes enable them to swim well, and they can even dive underwater to escape danger. but they spend most of their lives in the mangrove canopy, which provides young leaves, berries, and shoots as their main source of sustenance. Unlike the solitary reptiles, proboscis monkeys exist in tight-knit social communities. A male leader and several females and their young form small groups, but when dusk falls, dozens of groups gather to form large colonies that sleep high in the branches. That bond is a protective shield for the young individuals. During the breeding season, the males compete fiercely to maintain their position as the leader of the group. After about 6 months of pregnancy, the female gives birth to a baby. The mother monkey holds the baby close to her chest, nourishes it with milk, and protects it for the first 2 years of its life. Hugs, branch-hopping steps, are the first survival lessons that the baby monkeys must overcome. And right from those branches, the curious eyes of the monkeys do not miss anything. Under the dark, damp forest canopy, the layer of dry leaves suddenly stirs.
Yes.
Two cobras stand halfway up, their hoods bulging, their eyes flashing like blades touching fire. They twist and turn in a dance of death. Suddenly, they strike a fatal blow. And in the end, there is a winner. In the suffocating silence, the drama seems to surge to the top of the tree. On one side, curiosity trembles. On the other side, death is waiting to explode. Indonesian nature, like a stage, is stretching its curtain waiting for a bloody end. As the mangroves settle down from the turmoil, another predator is preparing to enter the stage. Quietly, without fanfare, it chooses to hide under the murky water, the saltwater crocodile, the lord of all Indonesian rivers. This is the largest reptile on the planet, can be more than 6 meters long, and weigh over a ton. Its back is covered with scales, as hard as steel, its teeth close with a terrifying bite, stronger than any other creature. But what makes it the ruler of the estuary is not only its strength, but also its patience. The saltwater crocodile hunts by surprise. With a flick of its tail, a mass of living steel shoots out of the water, dragging its victim to the bottom of the river in a flash of death. For them, every creature that steps out onto the water's edge is a target, from wild buffalo, wild pigs, to the monkeys above. As the afternoon falls, the river's surface is covered in the coppery red of sunset. A group of proboscis monkeys gather on the shore, a mother boldly choosing to cross the river to find food on the other side. On its back, the baby clings tightly, its round eyes filled with panic. The water shimmers, the silence is terrifying. But right below, the glowing yellow eyes follow every stroke. The giant body of the saltwater crocodile silently slithers forward, the narrow wave turning straight towards the unfortunate creature. Suddenly, the river explodes. In the wild world of Indonesia, sometimes motherly love is the only power that can defy death. Indonesian nature is harsh, but it is also the place that nurtures bravery and connection. From the motherly love of proboscis monkeys to the life and death battles between Komodo and venomous snakes, every creature has a survival story. And it is in that vortex that we realize life, no matter how fragile, still resiliently finds a way to continue. Which battle impressed you the most? Leave a comment below. If you want to continue exploring life and death battles in the wild, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any journey. At that moment, nature would choose the survivor. And the battle began. The wild Arizona desert, the battle between rattlesnakes and their deadly enemies. The Arizona desert. one of the harshest lands in North America, where the temperature difference between day and night is up to 30 degrees. The land is barren, life clings to every thorn bush, every crevice of rock. This is the invisible battlefield of hunters and prey. Where life is not for the strongest, but for those who know how to hide and strike at the right time. In the maze of rocks and sand, a creature has evolved to the pinnacle of the art of stalking. It does not need speed. It does not need overwhelming power. Just one bite is enough. That is the rattlesnake. The symbol of silent death. But even death has its enemies. Hidden beneath the rubble and prickly cactus of the Arizona desert, a creature seems to blend into the landscape. No human eye can easily spot it until it is too late. The Western American rattlesnake, Crocodile atrox, is one of the most venomous snakes in North America. With a body 90 to 150 centimeters long, muscles coiled under tough scales, rattlesnakes possess a lightning-fast attack mechanism. They have retractable fangs that only release when biting, injecting enough venom into their prey to paralyze the heart and nerves in minutes. Their venom is a mixture of enzymes that break down tissue, clot blood, cause necrosis, and spread rapidly through the circulatory system. But what makes it truly dangerous is not just the venom, but the way it kills, quickly, silently, and almost invisibly. This snake possesses an almost invisible weapon, a pair of heat pits located between its eyes, allowing it to sense the heat emitted by other creatures. In its eyes, the world appears in thermal tones, like a living map where every heartbeat, every blood flow is exposed. Whether it is in the middle of a freezing cold night, or in the middle of a scorching hot noon, it still sees all life moving around, especially small creatures like mice, baby birds, or lizards that are vulnerable. A field mouse gropes across a hot gravel bed. It has no idea that death is lying right at its feet, completely motionless. The snake does not move. It does not breathe heavily. Its heartbeat has almost stopped. Its forked tongue sticks out, scanning the air, collecting every molecule of scent, every micro vibration. And then, the moment the mouse is vulnerable, the snake attacks. Less than 0.3 seconds. A clean bite. The cocktail of enzymes and neurotoxins begins its work of destruction from within. The rattlesnake does not need to chase. It simply waits. The venom does the rest. When life is extinguished, it quietly approaches. Jaws open wide, joints split. The prey is swallowed whole, slowly drifting into the belly. Within minutes, all traces are gone. Only a bulge remains, silently slithering into the darkness. Its camouflage is also a masterpiece. Its scales have a serrated pattern, blending perfectly with the color of the soil and gravel. When detected, it does not attack immediately. Instead, it vibrates its tail. A dry, creepy sound, like the friction of thousands of grains of sand. It is the final warning bell. The vibration can reach 50 beats per second, emitted from the hollow horn rings at the end of the tail. A warning designed to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. More than just a killer, the rattlesnake is also a silent mother. In late spring or early summer, as the desert heat begins to rise, a silent transformation takes place beneath the cracked rock. The female is pregnant, but does not lay eggs like most other snakes. Rattlesnakes give birth in a unique way, giving birth to live young, in a process called oviparous reproduction. The embryos develop inside the mother's body, fed by yolk, rather than through a placenta like mammals. When the time comes, each female can give birth to anywhere 4 to 25 young, depending on her size and environmental conditions. The young snakes emerge from their mother's body, already equipped with teeth, venom, and a full set of survival instincts. Soon after their first skinning, they separate from their mother and begin their own lives, solitary as their species. Although cold-blooded, female rattlesnakes usually choose a place to give birth with a stable temperature, such as under a rock or in a deep hole in the ground, where they can both keep warm and avoid predators. No arms to protect them. No herd. Only instinct and a tail that vibrates when death approaches. Not all threats come from below the ground. Sometimes death has wings and strides across the sand like a ghost. Roadrunner, the desert cowboy. An exotic bird of the southwestern deserts of the United States, not good at flying, but a great athlete. Speed is its weapon. With its long legs, small head, hooked tail, and razor-sharp eyes, it is one of the few creatures that dares to hunt venomous snakes. Not because it is immune to venom, but because it is so fast that the venom does not have time to take effect. The roadrunner does not just survive in the desert, it dominates it with boldness and strategy. Its diet includes not only insects and lizards, but also scorpions, small snakes, and sometimes baby rattlesnakes themselves. At noon, the air trembles with heat. A rattlesnake slithers low to the ground, hidden in the canopy of a low cactus, its body blending in with the sand. Its tail quivers slightly, warning of what it cannot see, but can sense. Above, on the sparse branches of a mesquite bush, a bird's silhouette is motionless. Its eyes are narrowed, observing the space below like a lens narrowing in focus. No chirp. No extra movement. In a single breath, the bird dived to the ground. The roadrunner picked up the snake's body, then began to swallow it from the head, like a long, thin strip of flesh. Without hesitation or fear. A small predator, without venom, without protective scales, but fast enough, bold enough to take down a killer known as the Grim Reaper. In this desert, victory does not always belong to the most dangerous, but to the one who strikes first. If the roadrunner is the daredevil on the ground, then the king snake is the silent nightmare from the same world. Lampropeltis Getula, the cannibal. A non-venomous snake, but the nemesis of the most venomous snakes. Not only is it immune to rattlesnakes' venom, but it hunts them as part of its main diet. With its muscular muscles and powerful jaws, the king snake does not need venom to kill. It squeezed, crushed, and swallowed its own kin. There was no peace between them. There was only instinct and the power of the leader in the snake world. On the sun-slicked sand, an adult rattlesnake was moving. Suddenly it stopped. All its senses were alerted. On the opposite side, the king snake appeared. Its skin was black and shiny with white streaks like lightning. It was not in a hurry, but each slither exuded deadly authority. The rattlesnake took a defensive stance. Its tail vibrated violently, the sound echoing throughout the quiet space. But the king snake did not retreat. That warning was completely meaningless to it. It charged. The rattlesnake knew this was an unequal battle. It suddenly turned its head, darting away at full speed. The king snake pursued, then stopped. Its prey had narrowly escaped. This time, death missed its hand. And the hunted still has a chance to ring the bell once more. However, to continue to survive in this harsh world, a survivor like it cannot rely on luck alone. The body needs to be renewed. The old scales, which have gone through many battles, many times crawling over sharp rocks and thorns, have now become a burden. And the rattlesnake knows clearly it is time to change its skin. Shedding skin is not just a biological process. It It is a silent ritual where death sheds its old skin to be reborn sharper and more agile. As its eyes turn cloudy, its body dulls, it hides, waiting for the right moment. And then, with a movement of rubbing against the stone, the old skin cracks. It slowly crawls out of itself, as if shedding its past. Each time its tail grows a bell-shaped segment, a symbol of its survival and growth. In the desert where death is always lurking, even death needs to shed its skin to continue to exist. The role of the rattlesnake in the ecosystem is undeniable. It is the regulating valve, keeping the desert machine running in balance. But this world is always full of paradoxes. There are those, however small, who choose to face death without fear. Desert shrew. Grasshopper mouse. A creature only the size of a palm, with a gentle appearance, smooth gray fur, pointed snout, short legs, tiny eyes that are almost blind. But hidden under that weak appearance is a true warrior. Its nervous system has evolved to neutralize the venom of snakes and scorpions. The pain from bites is only a slight sting. Moreover, it is a fierce predator. Its extremely high metabolic rate forces it to constantly hunt for food. Even its saliva contains a mild toxin, enough to paralyze small prey. In this world, all survival is calculation. The sun is slanting. A rattlesnake silently slithers away. Its forked tongue continuously tastes the air. A rustling sound. A desert shrew stands there. Small. Quiet. But its jet black eyes show no fear. The snake takes a defensive stance. The shrew also tenses. Time seemed to stop. Then the two charged at each other. An unexpected fight. Everything ended in silence. Only the sand slowly settled. The shrew was gone. It had proven that it was not a tasty meal. Or perhaps it was the one that made the predator retreat. In a world where strength is often measured by claws and venom, the desert shrew is a reminder. Size does not define courage. And sometimes, survival belongs to the craziest. In the middle of the Arizona desert, every creature writes its own survival story. It is not the strongest that wins, but the one that adapts best. Which confrontation impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments below. To continue accompanying us, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss any of the next adventures.